Note, all characters, events, and spoken words in this story are fictional, and is not meant to target any specific audience. Feel free to stop reading at any time and read at your own risk. There once was a lady named Xiao Hui. Xiao Hui was born in a fairly wealthy family, and she should have led a happy life with no hardships. However, after her mother passed away, her father took in a mistress who gave birth to 2 daughters. The mistress and her 2 daughters found Xiao Hui to be an eyesore as Xiao Hui grew up, as it seemed that Xiao Hui was going to grow up into a world-toppling beauty. Hence, the mistress and her daughters schemed to make Xiao Hui ugly. Hence, as Xiao Hui grew up, her stepmother, aka the mistress, would feed her with all sorts of high-calorie junk food. The goal was to make Xiao Hui so fat that no one would want her. Years later, the stepmother's plan could be considered a success as Xiao Hui had grown to be very chubby. However, what the stepmother could not have foreseen was that her own 2 daughters also failed to resist the temptation of junk food, hence they also ended up in the same condition as Xiao Hui. In a fit of anger, the stepmother had Xiao Hui become a servant of the mansion in order to serve the 2 daughters. Xiao Hui's father did nothing to stop this, as he did not know about it due to being on a long business trip. As for where the father in question was, who knows? Ever since then, Xiao Hui had to work hard as a servant of the mansion while living with the servants in the servants' house. Due to the stepsisters desiring the junk food, there was always a supply of the junk food in the mansion. Xiao Hui also had her fair share. However, the chores she had to do helped her create a balance between calories burned and calories consumed, allowing her to stay her cute, chubby size. As for the 2 stepsisters, let's just leave that description up to your imagination. Even though Xiao Hui was treated as a servant, her freedom was not restricted, as she was allowed to go outside the mansion. So from time to time, Xiao Hui would leave the mansion, usually to acquire junk food at the demands of her 2 stepsisters. Xiao Hui would also try out the food from the shops in the area, discovering that her favorite meal was pork belly ramen. Although there were signs that prohibit it, Xiao Hui also loved feeding the animals in the city from time to time. One time, Xiao Hui even fed a human boy who was about her age. Fortunately, nothing happened to the animals nor the boy as they grew up. Although Xiao Hui didn't grow up to be a world-toppling beauty, she did grow into a cute, chubby lady, albeit a bit on the shorter side. She had long hair that she usually used to cover her face when facing her stepmother, as her stepmother doesn't like seeing her face. Eventually, Xiao Hui and the 2 stepsisters reached age 18, becoming adults. They can finally marry. Woohoo! Just as coincidence would have it, or maybe just for the plot to move forward, the parents of the age 20 rising star Xiao Wangzi, who had already become the CEO of one of the top companies of the world, decided to hold a ball to find a wife for their son. Xiao Hui's was just so happened included on the list of attendees. Hence, the household bustled with excitement as they prepared for the ball. All daughters of any fairly wealthy business owners were allowed to the ball, disregarding of their looks or status in the family. Xiao Hui was also excited due to this fact. However, as the ball neared, she was told the cruel truth by her stepmother. Xiao Hui was forbidden to go to the ball as she was deemed a servant of the household, not a daughter of a wealthy business owner. With her birth certificate and identification papers in the hands of her stepmother, there was nothing Xiao Hui could do. Not only that, the ball was held at a famous banquet hall, located on an private island. There was no way for Xiao Hui to go alone, as she wouldn't even be able to reach the island without an invitation. Hence, on the night of the ball, Xiao Hui was left in the servant's house alone as her family went off to the ball, giving all servants an 1-day vacation. Xiao Hui was depressed. Although Xiao Hui didn't feel sad over not meeting a handsome CEO, Xiao Hui regrets missing out of all the delicious food that would probably be present at the ball. Just imagine the all-you-can-eat buffet table. Xiao Hui could only drool as she dreamed of grabbing plate after plate of food off that table. Xiao Hui's stomach suddenly gurgled as if protesting against her powerful imagination of food. Unfortunately, there was no one to cook, nor could Xiao Hui access her stepsister's junk food stash in the mansion. Hence, Xiao Hui decided to go out and find something to eat. Xiao Hui bumbled around the streets of the city as she took in the many dining places around her. Xiao Hui finally decided to eat some ramen, as she rarely gets the chance to eat her favorite ramen due to it usually running out by the time she's done with her servant chores. Xiao Hui walked into a very popular ramen shop and decided to order her favorite pork belly ramen. Fortunately, today was Xiao Hui's lucky day, as the boss told her it's his last bowl of pork belly ramen. Xiao Hui was ecstatic as the boss cooked up his last bowl of pork belly ramen and placed it in front of her. Just as Xiao Hui was about to start eating, a chirpy lady's voice resounded beside her. "Boss, one pork belly ramen please." The boss then shrugged as he replied while pointing at Xiao Hui, "Sorry, no can do, that lady here has the last bowl as we ran out of pork belly." Xiao Hui then looked up to see a pretty lady dressed in a black, formal dress. It seems the lady was about to attend some special occasion, however, she had stopped by this shop for some ramen. Why does it run out every time I come here?" the pretty lady wailed in agony as she slumped onto the table. Xiao Hui looked at the pretty lady, then at her bowl of ramen. In a moment of impulse, Xiao Hui lightly pushed her bowl of ramen over to the pretty lady. "Here, you can have my bowl. I'll just eat something else this time," Xiao Hui said kindly as she reluctantly stares at her bowl of ramen. The pretty lady looked up in shock before she jumped up and hugged Xiao Hui in joy. "Oh, thank you so much, little beauty." Then the pretty lady rapidly gobbled up the bowl of ramen, so quickly that Xiao Hui was left in shock. That was satisfying, too bad there's so little. Now I don't have to worry about being hungry while keeping up my image at the ball, the pretty lady happily chirped as she smacked her lips. Then, the pretty lady looked over at Xiao Hui before introducing herself. "Hi. I'm Xiao Xianu. Nice to meet you." Xiao Hui nodded back before greeting, "I'm Xiao Hui. Nice to." Gurgle. Before Xiao Hui could finish her greeting, her stomach rumbled loudly as if to remind her to order a bowl of ramen. Xiao Hui blushed red before she stuttered, I haven't eaten yet, let me order a bowl of ramen first." However, before Xiao Hui could order, Xiao Xianu clapped her hands as if a brilliant idea had popped into her mind. Then, Xiao Xianu quickly stated, "Xiao Hui, no need to order. Let big sister here bring you to a place where you can eat delicious food all you want." Xiao Hui stared back at Xiao Xianu queerly as if she couldn't believe what Xiao Xianu just said. "I mean, who would come eat ramen if there's a delicious buffet?" Before Xiao Hui could ponder further, Xiao Xianu grabbed Xiao Hui by her hand and dragged her off to a limousine that was waiting outside. Xiao Hui was then shoved inside the car as Xiao Xianu hollered to the chauffeur, "Go to our family's dress shop so I can pick out a dress for my new friend here." Then, Xiao Xianu began to make calls on her phone while describing Xiao Hui. Although Xiao Hui had on many occasions wanted to ask where they were going, Xiao Xianu told her that she would tell them on the way as they would be late if they didn't hurry. Not long after, the limousine pulled up to a fancy dress shop where Xiao Xianu dragged Xiao Hui in rapidly. In the shop, a multitude of attendants flocked up to Xiao Hui as they helped her get dressed, applied makeup on her face, and tied her hair into a bun. Walking out of the changing room, Xiao Hui was dressed in a loose, silky white dress. The dress was a bit long as Xiao Hui was short, however, Xiao Hui could still walk fine in it. If anyone were to look at Xiao Hui now, they would see a beautiful little woman in a silky white dress. A high heels made of glass was worn on her feet, increasing her height by a fair amount. At this point, Xiao Hui was practically unrecognizable from her previous appearance. Xiao Hui was then rapidly dragged back into the limousine by the excited Xiao Xianu. It was finally at this point that Xiao Hui could ask Xiao Xianu where they were going. Xiao Xianu gave a tiny smirk as she replied, "To CEO Wang Zi's ball of course."